Live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Winsome, Wendy's defense. Winsome Wendy contacts me in Discord all the time to share thoughts and ideas, and I think you should too. That Discord is down in the description. While you're down there looking for that, hit that like button. It really helps me out. We grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, your placement, your power levels, your ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. It has been an up and down kind of day. It really has. I have had my heart broken, reassembled, and then smashed again, all because of this Cosmic Crucible stuff that's going on. Let's get some music and jump into team number 1, though. All right. We have... Oh, shucks. Man, this is not a team to start me off. Okay. I don't like the Doc Ock Sinister Six team, especially when you have the wonky power levels. I know that at low levels, this catches newer players off guard. They don't understand what they're getting into, and they won't be able to kill Doc Ock. However, for anybody who knows what they're doing, these underdeveloped toons are a speed ramp to absolutely run over Doc Ock with a team like the Symbiotes or the AxMen. I think it's detrimental to Doc Ock, and we're seeing lots of really good hybrids where you could put Doc Ock in place of other characters to do some really fun and interesting things. I have said that line so many times. Eventually, my one-man crusade to change the internet will take effect. All right. ISOs, we've got Raider, Striker, Healer. I can live with those. The placement is decent enough. I just don't like who you're using. I think you should replace Doc Ock with a regular Sinister Six member and use him someplace else. I'm going to give you a B for this team. Team number 2 is the Symbiotes. This is fine, except we need to change Scream to a Skirmisher would probably be my choice. I would even accept a Raider. I just think you've got 3 Strikers and 2 people putting out vulnerables. Also, Symbiote Spider-Man is looking really good with the Web Warriors in place of Punk on defenses, just giving them that health boost. Sometimes you may want to do that, but you are kind of, you're losing your Symbiote team by doing that, because Punk Spider on the Symbiote team does nothing, so... it just kind of depends on what you want to do. If you happen to have like a big symbiote Spider-Man and the rest of your symbiotes are yucky, you could consider moving him over to the Web Warrior team. Not too bad. Placement is okay. I think we should move Symbiote Spider-Man into the middle and put Scream to the outside. He's pretty dodgy and he's tough and he just goes better in the middle. So I'm going to go with a B for that team. Let's get that one ISO change and a little bit of a placement swap. Team number 3 is the Astonishing XMen. We have a problem with the ISOs. 100%. We need to change Iceman to a Skirmisher. We need to change... Beast to a Skirmisher also. That's very much for raids, but I also kind of like it just in war defense. I wouldn't dock you for Healer on Beast on war defense. There's a case to be made that it's pretty valuable, but I just don't think so. I like getting all those triple taps out of Bishop and sometimes Jubilee. Jubilee I personally run as a Striker, but it has equal value running her as a Skirmisher so that Bishop always gets the triple tap. But I kind of like having her come back in with the blind. It's like, do you want a 50% boost to her focus so that she lands it on the first try? Or do you want her to double tap and come back in and have 2 opportunities on her basic move to land the blind? I don't know. I think the Skirmisher just has more value with Bishop. So Skirmisher placement's great. I'm going to give you a B for that team. All right, here's the Web Warriors, and what I would like to see is a placement change. We want to swap Miles and Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, Miles works really well on the Young Avengers, especially next to Ms. Marvel. You can leave Ms. Marvel in the corner if you have Miles next to her, because now the Dark Hunters can't chain off of Ms. Marvel. Oh, they can, but they don't chain anywhere. Just you target her, and that's it, because Miles blocks the chain from going through. So that's something you can do with Miles if you want to switch things up. We talked about taking Symbiote Spider-Man and putting him on this team. You could put him in place of Miles. You could also put Doc Ock on this team. There's lots of different things you can do with these Web Warriors. They're kind of just an RNG-based team. They don't do exceptionally well in defense, but you're not going to be using them on offense, so everybody throws them on defense. As for your ISOs, I hate Striker on Scarlet Spider. At least you could do something weird and annoy Remenex by putting Healer on Scarlet Spider like I do. Yes, I do that just to annoy Remenex. Raider on everybody else. I like Striker on Miles for those double taps cleansing effects. So let's swap some ISOs, a little bit of a placement change. You could consider using other people, but you don't need to. This team gets a B. Team number 5 is the Mercs with Ultimus. This is kind of a cool setup. I did my research on Ultimus, by the way. I found out running Taskmaster is a skirmisher. Korath the Pursuer is great. He's Kree with the synergy with Ultimus as a skirmisher. Also, you're getting vulnerables out there for Ultimus to do his double taps into. And so that's what the focus is all about. You can leave these guys with their native ISOs, not invest into Merc Riot Guard as much because you're going to keep him as a fortifier. You don't have to, do much with Merc Lieutenant. You just got to have him a little bit bigger so that he can survive on his own and he's got the healing going on. You could switch these guys to skirmishers also so that when they do an attack, they lay up a vulnerable and then Taskmaster is clearing that much more positive effects if they go into it. But honestly, I love this build. I love what you're doing with it. This is an old team, but this is one way to do it right. The synergy between these two Kree members is actually really good. And I think this is going to work out well. I'm going to give you an A for that team. Good job. Team number 6 is the Wave 1 Secret Avengers kind of thing going on here. Now look, you've got 3 tanks over here. These 2 are healers. He's a skirmisher because you want the combo between him and Sharon Carter. I like having these 3 tanks in here. They're healing, they're blocking, they're causing lots of problems. This guy is a Wave 1 Avenger, so he is giving the speed up to Hulk whenever that happens. You get the heals coming off of this team. It's a thing you can do with the Secret Avengers, and I think it's a really good build. I like it. There's nothing going wrong here, nothing really being wasted. You could probably bring up their ISOs a little bit higher if you wanted to make this team even more frustrating, right? Bring that blue ISO bonus. By the way, 2.4 is around the corner, and if you have a character other than MLF that you're thinking about putting your blue 2.4 ISO on, I'd love to hear your reasoning because I can't think of a reason to do it other than just being a crazy person. So I'm giving this team an A. Great work. I don't really have any advice to where to go on that. I mean, you could do other things, but this is fine. Team number 7. This is the Fantastic Four that got invested into a long time ago, and you didn't want to waste that investment. So you're trying to make the team function a little bit better. This isn't terrible. If you've got no place else for Surfer or Doom to go to, that adds some real threat value to this team. You've got defense up for 2 turns happening on your Fantastic Four members because of She-Hulk and how this works. These guys are just, well, Surfer's fast, Doom is slow, but they're doing things. You have 2 skirmishers. Now, these guys are going to go after Surfer before Doom. And so Surfer's not going to soak up any of those vulnerables, but he's not going to do any double taps either. You might consider changing Surfer to a Raider on this team for the opening crit damage, be a little bit more explosive up front. He becomes more of a threat. I wouldn't worry so much about Surfer's opening turn other than the ability block if I was going into this, just because I would just bring in a team that could maybe tank through it or something and then put my focus on Doom. He's not going to be double tapping or stripping my positive effects or anything like that because there's not going to be any vulnerables on the field when he takes a turn. Yeah, so that's my only advice is consider an ISO swap. You don't need to, though. It's 2 and 2. This is just something to do with a team that was previously invested in. I don't think anybody should be building the Fantastic Four for any reason at all other than her for the Nowhere heist, and you shouldn't be building her all that big, really. Not to, the last tier of the Nowhere heist. So I'm gonna go A- on this team. Nothing to get excited about. It's just you're trying to use up stuff you invested in. Team number 8. This is one I kind of have an issue with. I don't like Scientist Supreme. I don't. She's going to throw up negative effects on everybody. Now, Kestral's going to cleanse those negative effects on her first turn, so it's not such a big deal to Kestral. I don't think it matters to Fury so much. His minions are going to be spawning with defense up and death proof, but not immunity, so they're going to be getting the negative effects from Scientist Supreme. And then these 2 guys are going to be getting the negative effects from Scientist Supreme. If you're in a defense adjacent room, like security adjacent, excuse me, I always say that wrong. If this room has defense down on it, then it doesn't really matter. These guys are just here to proc that defense down and make Kestral explode, and that's a good thing. Fury's kind of a liability on war defense no matter what you do with him, wherever you put him. I like him on offense for speeding up your team because you can control it and push that special button instead of his ultimate. So I just don't like this team. I don't like this pairing. I think we need to get rid of these two people and put anybody else who is fast in here, because I'm pretty sure Winsome Wendy is adjacent to security or insecurity. And so I would like to see just really fast people procking the defense downs and making Kestral blow stuff up. They don't even have to be anybody good. You could put a Korath the Pursuer in here. Just anybody with a high speed, you know? Throw them in and let's see what happens. So I don't like who you're using. You do have all the proper ISOs. You could make him a Raider probably. Like when he's solo, I think Raider's probably the better way to go for the crit damage. And then keeping her as a striker with all, well, let's see, it's 2 and 2 actually. I like Coulson as a striker for the turn meter rewind. You could consider making Kestral a Raider. I do like her as a Raider for that opening move. When it crits, it kills, man. It's great. So either put Raider on him or put Raider on her, I think. And then I just don't like these two people, and I don't like what Scientist Supreme does. I know it's a cleanse eventually. I know there's a chance to revive on turn and stuff. I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan. I'm going to go with a B for that team. I think it's kind of clunky and we could be using better people. Team number 9 is the Emmarauders. No prior, no problem. You put Blob in here. Here's why I like Blob without Toad. So Strife's gonna get those deflects. Not sure if he needs them or not, but sure, we're gonna throw him on there. He's got the healer ISO because you were smart and didn't listen to me for the past 6 months. And you've got that healer ISO on him, so that's good. If Strife does die, about that time, Blob's gonna be probably picking up the taunt, you know, from the Brotherhood ally going under 50% or something like that. So, you know, it happens late in the game, so there's something that might go your way. So that's a pretty good choice. He has 1 Brotherhood ally, so he's only going to be retaliating 50% of the time, but I still think Skirmisher's a good choice, getting some extra vulnerables out there. You have her as a striker. It's not my favorite, but on this build, I mean, you got 2 Skirmishers and no strikers without her, so you might as well have her as a striker. She's going to come back in and clear positive effects. It's not a total loss or anything like that. It's not the most exciting thing. I think, you know, when you do get prior unlocked, she should come in here and place a blob, and I'm curious to see what you do with a big fat 202 blob someplace else. You know, I want to see something fun with that. So let me know what happens when, you know, 2-3 years from now when Madeline Pryor becomes farmable, because oh my god, them and their stupid farmable list, right? Okay, I'm gonna give this team a B+. It's nothing horrible. It just doesn't excite me, really. Honestly, that's about it. Okay, let's go. Team number 10 is the Heroes for Hire. The only thing I don't like about this is you got Healer on Iron Fist. It's a traditional pick, but Heal Block is all over this team, and so it doesn't get a lot of use. I think you should go Skirmisher or Raider. Otherwise, your placement's great, your ISOs are great, your power levels, all that stuff is great, great, great. So, in fact, I'm going to give you an A. It's not even that big of a deal that he is a healer instead of something else. All right, this was Winsome Wendy's Defense Up. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos. And remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too. I'll see you next time. Bye.